Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Today we're going to be going over, drum roll please, planes and the plane tool in Onshape. This video is going to be very similar to one I've made for Autodesk Inventor, but that's okay. I've changed it up and added a little bit too. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. We are going to be drawing this today in Onshape. Okay, so what is this thing and how do we even get started? Well, we could revolve that cylinder shape. We can't really extrude this shape because it's not a perfect, things are missing. So basically, how do I make a cut that's angled like this? Every other cut we've made so far, we've drawn on the face of something that's been extruded, but how do I access all these different angles? It turns out using the plane tool in Onshape is kind of the key to unlocking all of the crazy designs and working from different angles that you're going to need to take an idea and make it a reality. So a lot of times, like, objects have strange angles or maybe some sort of a design that isn't perfectly, falling on one of those three starting planes, and you're gonna have to move things around. So that's the purpose of this tool, so hopefully this video will help you get started. All right, so let's start. I'm gonna start by drawing a block. So I'm gonna click on the top plane here, and we're gonna sketch in the top plane. Okay, looking from below here. We can uncheck these, and I'm going to use the center point rectangle. I'm a huge fan of this tool. So we'll come out like so, and I'll grab my dimension tool, and we'll be able to change the length and width of our rectangle. So I'll call this maybe 5 or 4. And we'll call this 6. All right, so we've got this basic shape of our rectangle. I'm going to use that to kind of create that basic block shape from which we will begin removing things here in just a minute. And I guess I was viewing it from this angle. So let's go ahead and extrude this block. I'm going to keep it kind of symmetric in my drawing, so we'll choose the symmetric option. And why don't we make it, I don't know, we'll make it 5 inches tall. That's okay. Boy, that seems a little too tall. Let's go ahead and change that to 3. That's much better. Yeah, that's much better. Now we got a nice looking block of Tillamook mild here. They're not paying me to say that. I'm just a huge fan. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's come up with a strategy here. So I want to be able to make a cut, which means I want to be able to draw a plane that's at an angle. I'm going to do this one second, and I'm going to do this one first, and you'll see why in just a minute, because I kind of use this cut as a guide. So I can see I have this tiny little line. I don't have any dimensions in here, but it's just the basic, skills and thought process that's important. I got a line here, and I got a line down here on my drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and make those cuts. Or I'm going to make these, I'm going to draw this line, and I'm going to draw this line. Now it turns out those are on 2 separate faces, so you'll need to use 2 separate sketches, but it really won't take that long. So I'll make a sketch in the top plane using my line tool. And I'm not going to do the top view because I don't think I really need to. We'll come over maybe 2 inches and come down 1 inch. I got really close to 1 there. Great. So I've created this line that I'll be using as a reference. Now I can finish my sketch. That's all. I just needed that line. Next, I'm going to sketch in this plane here. We'll come up maybe 1 inch, and I'll come over all the way to the edge. I think I'm locked on the plane there. Perfect. All right, so I've got these two lines now. And so what I can do, this plane tool has a ton of options. There's the offset, which we'll go over in a minute. Point normal. I think if you just click the plane tool, it kind of guesses what you're trying to do. So you can just click, I think you can just click the plane tool, but I've chosen line angle, so that is one way to create a plane. But we're gonna go ahead, yeah, we'll do line angle is I think what I selected. So I can select this line and this line, and basically what it'll do is it'll create the sheet that's gonna be passing through those two lines, and you can really see it here. So if I can select my plane, and we'll see if it'll let me to change. Yeah, if I stretch it out there, we can really see it slicing and dicing up the block. So now that I have this curved plane, I'm going to create a sketch on that plane. So I'll select that plane in the browser over here on the left and create a sketch, and this is where we get to remove that chunk. So what you're going to want to do, there's this really cool feature. If you want to look directly above, you want to be looking directly down at that plane even though it's at an angle, you can select your sketch or the plane, right click, and you select View Normal To. And now we're looking directly down at the top. So right click, View Normal To, click and drag, grab my corner rectangle, and I'm going to make a selection that completely covers what I'm trying to remove. I can finish. I got a lot of boxes going on here. We're going to extrude. We'll go ahead and select the rectangle that we've just drawn. And it's trying to create a new solid there. We don't want to add on to the existing shape. We want to remove from it. So we select remove, and then you can click and drag away the portion that you'd like to get rid of. Woo! Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can hide plane 1, so we really don't need to be looking at that. And I'm going to go ahead and hide sketch 2 and 3 so I don't have to look at those lines either. So I'm going to hide these. So now all we see is our solid. Very, very pretty. Looking good. I take that back. I am going to go into sketch 2. I'm going to add a line to sketch 2, and you'll see why in just a second. I want to use, there's another plane that you can draw that's called the 3-point plane. And it turns out if two lines are, parallel in three-dimensional space, we can have a plane connecting them. If you have 3 points, you can create a plane, and I would say the 3-point plane is just so unbelievably useful for making those removals. So I'm going to draw a line in sketch 2. Whew. Excuse me. I'm going to draw a line in sketch 2. Let's see here. Double click sketch 2, grab my line tool, and this is just kind of, again, I'm not really using dimensions here. It's just kind of used as a guide. So I draw that line, finish my sketch. Now I've got a line here, and I've got a line there. And what that's going to allow me to do is when I select my plane tool, you'll notice my cut starts at that point, kind of goes up, goes around. I'm going to select this point. Oops. I think I need to select the 3-point option. Selected this point, selected this point, and I've selected that point. And look at that glorious plane that emerges. We press OK. Let's go ahead and right-click plane 2. View normal 2. We're going to create a sketch in plane 2. And I am going to do the same thing that I did previously. I'm going to draw a great big rectangle that completely covers the thing that I want to remove. You could really use any shape that you want. We're going to go ahead and extrude, removing that section. Click and drag up, and then I'm going to hide all those things that I really don't need. So I got my cuts going on. So I'll come over here, we'll hide this plane. I'm going to hide sketch 2 now because I've kind of used it. So now we've got this beautiful view. Made this nice awkward cut on my shape. Pretty cool. All right, what else do we need to do? I think I threw a circle in here in the drawing. Yeah, So we'll just go ahead and punch a circle real fast. Not going to take too long. Look at that. Let me press OK. Oh, what did I just do? That is not what I wanted. Oh, there we go. Let's go ahead and extrude. We're going to remove and pull that baby on through the bottom. Now we got a nice, beautiful hole coming through our shape there. Nice. Okay, this next one's a little weird, so these next two don't take too long, but you'll see that it's kind of, where do we start? Like, there's a couple ways we can do this, but if I want this to extend, you know, symmetrically, so I want this distance on the top and this distance on the bottom to be the same, how do we do that? So I'm going to use a couple tools here. What I'm actually going to do is draw what's called a midplane. It turns out this can be really, really, really useful, and sometimes I just forget how useful this is. So we're going to draw a midplane, and a midplane is the plane in between two planes, so it's like a sandwich, right? So you select the top plane, select the bottom plane, and it's going to create one in between those. It's roughly the same size. We got our midplane there. Now the way I'm going to use the midplane, I'm going to create a sketch on this midplane. Look at our top view. And I'm going to use this tool, and we'll talk about it in a later video, but it's called Project Geometry. And what it does is it takes something from another sketch and puts it on my sketch. So I want this point to use as a guide so my circle is centered. You notice if I didn't do that, if I try and snap a circle right here, there's nothing, it won't snap to anything. So I have to use Project Geometry to get that point into my sketch. And now when I come in with my circle, aha! It detects that, and we'll be able to draw our cylinder. So what I did there is I drew a midplane, and what that's going to allow me to do is when I extrude symmetrically here, drag up, it will be coming the same distance from the top and the bottom, our little silo shape we got going on. Press OK. We've created our solid. Where's my plane 3? I'm going to go ahead and hide that. Alright, the last one, I think that is, there are many, many, many ways to create a plane on which to work. The last one that I'm going to go over that's really commonly used is the offset. So we're going to click the offset, and how this works is you can click any plane that you want, basically, and it will create a plane that's parallel to that plane. But you can choose how far away your new plane is. So it allows you to draw really anywhere in space. So you could select here, you could select, let's not do 2. You can choose one plane at a time. You can choose here, whatever you want. That's the one I chose for my sphere. So that's the one that I'll use. So I'm going to drag up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and create a sketch, and I'll show you how to draw a sphere. There's probably a tool that is dedicated to this, or at least there is in Inventor, but that's okay. So I'll just draw a circle. This is how, actually I'm going to start with we'll start with a line. So I'm just going to draw a line where I want my circle. This is going to be the diameter of my circle. I'll grab my circle tool. I'm going to find the midpoint, start there, and then stretch out to the edge. And then grab the trim tool and clip one of the edges off. So what that's going to allow me to do, I don't think you actually needed to do that. What that allows me to do is it's going to give me a chance to click this profile and choose an axis of revolution with the revolve tool to ultimately create our sphere. You can press OK, and remember, using these visibility tools is really helpful. So hiding those to make it look nice and pretty in our shape. So hopefully that was a cool video for you. This is a really, really useful tool, and it really makes a difference in unlocking how complicated you can make your drawings. So I hope you like that, and yeah, we'll see you next time.